days at the stick. From who's got it better than us to brick by brick. It's always the 49ers way, from off-season to game day. Yeah, we talk back. It's the 49ers Cutback.
It's 49ers Cutback Podcast time. Welcome to the show, a 49ers news update episode. Going to be talking all about the San Francisco 49ers and the news that's coming out, according to Kyle Shanahan, who spoke with the media in a conference call where he gave some key information about certain players and players that are very important to the 49ers' success, including a player like Colton McKivitz. We're going to get into that for sure. Because Colton McKivitz was in his first start as the San Francisco 49ers offensive tackle, taking over for Trent Williams. It's a familiar spot. He had done it last year in Week 18 as well, and he was asked to do it in the game, but he left during the game with a apparent knee injury. Jalen Moore took over his spot in the game, and Colton McKivitz is going to be out for a while. Kyle Shanahan revealed that McKivitz suffered a sprained MCL, which means Colton McKivitz will be out 6 to 8 weeks. Once again, another injury that is similar to Elijah Mitchell and similar to Azeez Al-Shaair. Three guys, three different positions that get hurt with this sprained MCL. I think it's crazy the fact that the injury happens like this, but those guys are going to be out. Now, Kyle Shanahan asked about who would be the left tackle option, said it would be Jalen Moore until Trent Williams can come back, but he did add that Daniel Brunskill is always an option. Now, Brunskill returned from injury in this week 4 matchup, and he played right guard, alternating with rookie Spencer Burford. And Brunskill did a really good job dusting off the rust and getting out there and executing. It was like going back to the things that he's done playing right guard for the 49ers in the past. So they do have that flexibility in case Jalen Moore isn't able to handle it. But Moore did a pretty good job. Now he's going to have a tough battle against Brian Burns of the Carolina Panthers. That's no joke. He's really good. And as far as Trent Williams goes, Kyle Shanahan said there is no date for return as of right now. So I think that is something to monitor along the way. The one thing Kyle did say, though, is that the practice window's opening for Jason Verrett and Jimmy Ward. Potentially, he expects him to practice Wednesday. That doesn't mean they're going to play against Carolina, but that is great news. I mean, the fact this defense has been playing so good without two of their best potential cover guys is absolutely incredible. Jimmy Ward next to Talanoa Hufanga just sounds so great. Ward was having a really good training camp before he suffered an injury, the hamstring injury. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if he's able to go full speed. I look for them to kind of let him work his way in, but I thought this last year with several players, and the 49ers played him the first week that they were available. So that's good news for the 49ers. Will Jason Verrett just be a backup outside corner? Will he end up playing the nickel? It is a lot of things that need to be determined, but the fact you're going to have a player of Jason Verrett and Jimmy Ward's caliber coming back to a defense that's already the best of the NFL is great news for the 49ers. So I think every 49ers fan, even though the injury news consistently wears on you, it's got to make you feel better to know that two of these elite players are coming back for your football team, Verrett and Ward, and then come the possibilities of what DeMeco Ryans can do for them. Carolina and Atlanta are good opportunities for them to get back, play, get healthy. That way they're ready when Kansas City comes knocking on October 23rd. That's going to be a big-time game. And then the rematch with the Rams the next week. So 3 weeks will be the target in which the 49ers will have to determine if these guys are ready to go and to be activated to the 53-man roster. And if they're not, then they're done for the year. So 49ers have to feel very comfortable with where they're at as far as their conditioning, as far as how they've recovered from injury. And, of course, they're going to use this practice time to get better. But I've heard Jason Verrett's ready to go and that Jimmy Ward's getting close, so that's good news for the 49ers. One thing that happened that was a little bit surprising was that Willie Snead was released. Willie Snead had been activated to the 53-man roster, elevated from the practice squad and promoted before the game on Monday. And then Willie Snead is released today. It's unfortunate for Willie Snead. I don't know what the 49ers are ultimately going to do with him after this, but they went ahead and moved on from Snead. So the 49ers, had Malik Turner that's come up twice now. So the next time that they would have to elevate Malik Turner, they need to promote him as well. So decisions with the wide receiver room for the 49ers. Danny Gray, of course, was doubtful and did not play against the Los Angeles Rams on Monday night. So 49ers, as far as backup wide receivers, they may be in the market for a couple of guys. We'll see what they end up doing. Let's see if they sign young players. Maybe they plan on bringing more veterans. But they got some decisions to make, and one of them will be at the wide receiver position because Willie Snead has been released by the 49ers. Another one that Kyle Shanahan mentioned in his press conference was Eric Armstead. Defensive tackle Eric Armstead was a game time decision, but he did play, and he logged a pretty good amount of snaps. But during the fourth quarter, he had to come out. His back was really, I'm sorry, his foot was really bothering him. So Eric Armstead, it wasn't able to continue and finish the football game. So he hasn't been checked out yet, according to Kyle Shanahan. They haven't made a determination on him. But I thought that was some telling news. I was hoping that they just pulled him just to make sure they protected his foot just in case. But it appears he did come out because the foot was bothering him too much that he couldn't go anymore. That is not great news for the 49ers as far as Eric Armstead goes. And his running mate, Javon Kinlaw, missed the game. He tried to give it a go early on. Kyle Shanahan said that he wasn't close. He said Kinlaw wanted to play. Kinlaw really wanted to go out there and make it happen, but he wasn't close, as according to Kyle Shanahan's words. So Kinlaw's not exactly ready to go, which means your interior defensive line could potentially be missing two starters against Carolina, Eric Armstead and Javon Kinlaw. Of course, Hassan Ridgeway played fantastic. Kevin Givens played fantastic. Kerry Hyder, when he was in there on the inside, he played good too. But you're going to have to do something. Of course, you have Hicks on your practice squad, but more than likely, the 49ers are going to have to go out and make a move if these guys are going to be out for a significant amount of time. There are defensive tackles out there, of course, that you could go and latch onto, and a really good one like Ndamukong Suh is still out there. So 49ers could make a move. We'll see. I think a lot of it will be determined by how long Armstead's going to be out, how long they think Kinlaw's going to be out. Hopefully it is a short stay and they'll be able to get back, but I worry about both of them. For one, Kinlaw with the surgically repaired knee bothering him, and then Armstead with plantar fasciitis. That stuff can linger the whole entire season. You need a lot of time just to rest to get better. He doesn't really have that because he's in the midst of a 17-game NFL season. So worried a little bit about the interior defensive line, but I do know that they can take care of business as far as making sure they have the guys, and they do have some really talented backups. Now, wide receiver Jawan Jennings had an ankle sprain, but Kyle Shanahan said he'll be day-to-day, so there's a potential that he could still play. So that is good news. At least we won't lose him. It was evident on film that he had something bothering him, but it's good news that the 49ers were able to, make sure that Jawan Jennings isn't hurt and will be potentially out there when they play. You can't have too many guys that you're mentioning or that you're missing. And so I think that when it comes down to it, the 49ers definitely have some injuries at key positions that they're going to have to overcome in this game against Carolina. But the way that John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan have built this roster, it's a roster that has a lot of talented players, but it also has a lot of depth as well. And that depth has been on display consistently. Now, we didn't see Demetrius Flannigan-Fowles in this game as far as playing a defensive snap because they played exclusively in the nickel because the Rams ran a 3-wide receiver set the entire time. Even when Skoranek went to the backfield, it's still 3 wide receivers in the personnel grouping. So they never had to go out of their nickel set. But we haven't seen Flannigan-Fowles. We don't know the exact impact that will have on the 49ers defense. I think they'll be okay, just the way that they've been playing and flying around. And Flannigan-Fowles against Denver logged 21 snaps and looked pretty good in that game. But anytime you have a defensive pass rush like the 49ers does, that can get 6 sacks from your defensive line. Of course, 7 in the game with Lenore getting the sack off the blitz. You have to feel pretty comfortable with your defensive line. And they're going to have to feel comfortable with these 2 big towering defensive tackles potentially missing time. We'll wait until later on in the week. Hopefully we get a closer view at what is actually going on with these players. Maybe Kyle Shanahan will shed some light, but we're going to have to monitor how they practice. And it's a short week. You're coming off Monday night. You have a travel all the way to the East Coast. So the 49ers are going to have to make some early and quick decisions on these guys. I'll be curious to see who they end up putting on the 53-man roster in place of Willie Snead. It could be as simple as they activated Jimmy Ward or Jason Verrett. That can happen. But they have a lot of decisions to make for the 49ers. Also, Curtis Robinson potentially could, his practice window could start pretty soon. Lots of things going on for the 49ers, lots of news. Unfortunately, a lot of it hovers around injuries, but that's how it's going around the league. I mean, the LA Rams got all the way down to the third string center. Not what you want, but that sounds very familiar to the 49ers in 2020. So injuries are there. Luckily, the team has built for this. They're capable and ready to handle any injuries that come their way. So 49ers are going to be getting prepared for the Carolina Panthers. Have some guys out. We have some guys that are going to need to step up. But this was a 49ers news update right here from 49ers Cutback. Hope you guys all enjoyed the episode. I know I enjoyed bringing it to you. I hope you guys have a good day. Stay safe. And remember, the right way is always the 49ers way.